Hello again on your Right English channel. I hope you're having a great time today. In this part, we will continue with the same text we started in the previous video. As you saw, we had some grammatical and structural issues, basically about sentence and clause types, subject-verb agreement, and punctuation. You can go back to that video and watch all the correction process by clicking on the link appearing on screen. Let's now continue reading and correcting. First, I want to separate what we proofread in the previous video from what we will proofread now. Great. Let's read the first sentence as a whole. One day, Louise was walking outside to amuse herself because she feels boring using gadgets all day. The first thing I want to improve upon this sentence is here. A comma should precede time phrases. Time phrases are like one day. One day is a time phrase. When these are used as introductory phrases, which means in the beginning of sentences, more often a comma should be following them. Some people don't use commas after one day, but if you want your writing to be more formal or professional, do put a comma. So we have a comma right here. One day, Louise was walking outside to amuse herself because she feels boring. Okay, let's go back and see where we have errors here. Louise was walking outside to amuse herself. We have to stop right here because this is a reflexive pronoun, and reflexive pronouns are supposed to be written without this space between her and the word self. So we write it without that space. To amuse herself because she feels boring using gadgets all day. Then we have an error related to tense. As I said before, this story tells us about actions that happened in the past. However, what we have here is a verb written in the present simple. Thus, we change the verb, which is to feel, to its past simple form. It becomes felt. Felt is the past simple form of feel. We, of course, do not add an ed like regular verbs because this verb is an irregular verb. Great. Now, do we have anything here to be corrected? Yes, we do. We have a problem with the word boring. It must be bored instead. So let's go ahead and correct this boring to bored. She felt bored. Okay, I want to explain a little bit about why bored, not boring. There is a big difference in meaning between the words boring and bored. Why? As you know, we can use the past participle and present participle forms with some verbs to become adjectives. They are specifically called participle adjectives or participial adjectives. Just in brief, we use past participle ed in order to say how people feel whereas we use present participle ing to describe the people or things that cause the feelings. It refers to the one or thing that makes me feel like this or like that. So when I say bored, I describe how I myself feel. But if I say boring, it means, for example, how other people think or feel about me. They feel that I am boring. In this context, bored is the correct usage. Now, moving on to the next sentence. Ahead of her, she saw someone wearing a helmet sat down in a black scooter. Can you guess what is wrong here? We have a semantic problem, which means an error related to meaning. According to the context of this text, it must be ahead with no space in here. There is a difference between ahead and ahead, so be careful about this point. We have it like this, without a space. Ahead of her, she saw someone wearing a helmet sat down. Alright, then I would prefer to have a comma after this adverbial phrase. Ahead of her. This is an adverbial phrase. When adverbial phrases come first in a sentence, we usually put a comma marking the end of the phrase and the main clause. So this is a comma right here. She saw someone wearing a helmet sat down. This sat should be sitting instead, which is in the present participle form, because one of the cases in which we use ing form with verbs is after verbs of perception. So we use present participles after verbs of perception. Other verbs of perception are like see, hear, watch, etc. There is saw here, which is the past form of see, and which is a verb of perception. There are two verbs proceeding. The first one is written correctly, which is wearing, and the second one should be present participle too. She saw someone wearing a helmet sitting down in a black scooter. And then sitting down in a black scooter, here in should be changed to on. This should be on, not in. For example, you sit on a chair or on a bench. We use in when the spot we are sitting on is covered. We sit in a car, sitting in or outside a car. So it should be on, sitting on, sitting down, on a black scooter. Now the next sentence. When she was near, the man took off his helmet. 'Twas handsome and attractive as well. The comma is well placed here, but do not forget the space after the comma. We have a space here. This is one of the common mistakes. It's a minor mistake. I mean, it doesn't change or distort the meaning of the text. Still, it is a writing mistake and you better avoid it. Okay. The man took off his helmet. There must be a full stop or period right here because this is a complete sentence. So a full stop is a must. So we have a new sentence, but there is something weird in it. It revolves around this mysterious word, twas. Okay, This word is a contraction or a short form of it was. We still have a problem with the subject pronoun it. It is supposed to refer to a thing, animal, situation, or idea that has already been mentioned. Looking at what follows, we see was, handsome, and attractive as well. The author is referring to and describing the man. Therefore, we shouldn't use it. We have to use the subject pronoun he, which refers to a masculine subject. So this twas should be all in all corrected into he was. He was handsome and attractive as well. Let's read the text that we have corrected today from the beginning. One day, Lois was walking outside to amuse herself because she felt bored using gadgets all day. Ahead of her, she saw someone wearing a helmet sitting down on a black scooter. When she was near, the man took off his helmet. He was handsome and attractive as well. Let's stop here for now and we'll continue with the rest of the text in another video. Thank you for watching and take care.